Hello, friends. I hope you're doing well. Today, I'm coming back with a video I've never done before. It is a presentation ish of all the watercolor paintings I've done whilst traveling. So, I've been doing, travel sketching, travel watercolors for nearly 2 years now. This is my little book. And I also present you all the materials I usually bring with me whenever I'm out and about. So, yeah. All right, so this is starting in August 2022 in Cerber. It's a small village just right next to the Spanish border, and there the villages have a main beach at the center of the village. It's very beautiful, surrounded by mountains, and it was my first try at line and wash. I used to hate watercolors until I understood you have to sketch before. So I was really happy about how this one turned out. It's still one of my favorite, even if it's the first one. But 2 weeks later, we actually ended up, my parents and I ended up going to do a little road trip to Germany, and I was mesmerized by the architecture of the houses there, and I really wanted to paint it. I like this one, but it's not like the perspective is just wrong. And I'm adding the pictures of how it should be looking like, like the real scene. And this one's pretty much the furthest away from reality. But I'm so happy I did it, but there's so many wrongs about this painting in the way that the shading is not properly done, the water has no depth, the perspective is off, but it was a lovely time, so I like it. This was in Switzerland. It was the view from our Airbnb. It was in the farm, absolutely lovely place. And it was my first and last time trying drawing and painting cows. And the only thing those are cows because they are black and white. But it was really hard, and I just really need to learn how to draw animals. I'd love to implement them more often in my paintings. This was also in Switzerland, and it's funny how, okay, I'm happy about how it looks, but then I just remember my feelings when I painted this painting. I was just hungry. I was really, I was grumpy. And I was just bored. So it's not my favorite. Another painting, another country. So this one was in Italy. We were wild camping somewhere. It was a very beautiful place, but I'm really sad I didn't get more depth in the forest. You can see on the picture how it was supposed to be in a way. But it was my first time really trying out experiencing with the trees, and I think that's something that's really helped me afterwards, and also making my backgrounds a little blurry. I'm still working on that. Then continuing in Italy, we went to this place in the mountains, and it was mesmerizingly beautiful. And this is one of the most closest to reality picture like drawing I've made, like close to reality. And I was so happy. So like the next morning I went to paint and I tried painting those buildings, and it couldn't I don't like it at all. I don't know why. It's just like everything's off about it. Even though if they do go together. But yeah, it looks cartoony. And really one thing that I'm extremely grateful for that watercolor and painting has given me is the ability to appreciate my surroundings, because I wanted to, I mean, it's not that I wanted to stop, but I thought about stopping watercolors because there's nothing interesting to paint when you're home. But this is just a town near my place, and I just did a little sketching, and there's so much to learn. There's so much about the shade. This is like in my village where I live, like about the dimension with the greens, with the mountains and everything. I think those are just practice sketches. It's not like they're not my favorite, but I think it really taught me how important it was to actually spend time practicing and not just be like, okay, I'm doing something really pretty. I want it to be fancy. I want it to be like, So, yeah. This is also another go at architecture. I went in Montpellier, which is a city in France here, and they have amazing architecture there. So it was a lot of fun. Okay, now This is right about the time of my birthday. It was in December, and I gifted myself a new paint like colors, watercolor paints, and I didn't know how to use them. They were much more pigmented than the ones I had. So this was in Abu Dhabi, and I tried. Don't really like them, but I tried. And after Abu Dhabi, we went to India, and there was my little Indian postcards because this are actually postcard size, but I will never send them to anyone. I'm so happy about how they turned out. I feel like they're really close to reality, and that's something that's really close to my heart to be able to picture reality. I don't know why, but I love it. And I've always tried to bring out the mood, how I felt, how the sounding felt, and I feel like I've pictured it pretty well, even if there are some little water damages, because when you're traveling, you can't really be so caring or as caring as you would like to be. And then we went to Ireland and I it was snowing. It was in March, I think. And it was just snowing and you can't see on the picture that I took like the real picture, but it was actually snowing when I drew it. And I'm really happy about how I got the perspective, even though please do not look at the cars. They are abominable. But it's really that satisfaction of having something you produce look good to you that made me really like encourage me to just keep practicing. And I always have my watercolor travel kit with me. I'll show you in a bit how, what I have in it. So I just went on and practice, and tried also different genres. So this was in south of France, so I was on holidays with my friends, and I tried to do this architecture, very typical thing, but with no background at all. And I liked it. I felt like it gave more of this watercolor style. So I tried it again. This was on a like near the beach where boats are. I forgot a port. I don't, yeah. This was at the beach. And it was the first time that I actually really tried to put some living beings. I mean, I've already made shadings and everything, or like silhouettes and everything that suggests people were there. But I feel like this one feels alive to me. And I was really happy about this one. I took a little break from drawing, and when I started again, surprisingly, this was in the UK, I felt like my entire mood shifted. It just looks nothing like what I used to draw before. It's very, I mean, it's still very detailed, but it's quite minimalistic compared to what I used to before. And also, I'm really happy because I've been watching a lot of Paul Clark tutorials. I feel like, I mean, he's absolutely awesome. His tutorials are amazing and his paintings are amazing. And I feel like that really impacted me in the way that I draw and paint. So that's good. That's very good. And thanks to him, I really learned about the importance of good shading. Like for example, this was in the Lake District. I like it. Okay, the perspective not too bad, but there's no shading. Like the green aren't properly green, and it's just like do take care of the shading if you're drawing or painting, more like painting. And this is something I struggle with even now. But I definitely worked on this was in Bali. I think I was filming a vlog when I did this one. But there's a lot of I feel like I'm trying to get my painting a lot more loose so that I'm not so perfectionist over the details. And hopefully I can implement more of the shading into the process so I could get a little better at it. This one literally looks like it's not finished, but it actually is. The wall was white. But again, I need to learn about shading and also about texture. So that was one of the first time that I realized I really need to be taking care of this. And this painting I did in Paris. And a funny thing is one of my mom's friend is a painter, and when she saw it, she was like, "Oh, it's good." And then I was like, but the perspective is off. But then I'm still flattered because she said it was good and she's a painter, a professional artist. And this one's one of my latest and one of my most favorite. I feel like I really went on with the shading as much as I could. I feel like it's always a danger. I feel like I'm going to ruin my painting if I put too much shade, but as I've been ranting about for the past, I don't know, 2 minutes, shading is important. This one I've also done whilst doing a vlog, and there's something I saw a little bit when I was watching this kind of video is many people were talking about how intimidating it can be to be painting or drawing outside and to have people stare sometimes. So I've personally never had people stare, but also I think it's a great conversation starter if it would ever happen. So if it's something you're afraid of, I just would advise you, yeah, I would advise you not to be afraid because it's just bonus for you. And often, if anyone notices, they will give compliments, even if, it's just like because you're doing something special, they will compliment you. So go for it. Okay, so those are my two last paintings and plus one more. And it feels like they've been painted, sorry, on the same day at the same place at the same time. But no, actually, they've been painted a month apart and 100 kilometers apart. But I really feel like the more I go, the more into comfort I'm going, and I've lost this touch of just being, not knowing how to work with colors and just trying to experiment. So it feels quite bland now. Like I feel the shading's a little bit more there, the sketching's getting better, but at the same time, I'm losing this spontaneous and bold choice of color that I used to use before, yeah. So this is something I want to work on in the next few, whenever. All right, so that is the little pouch I take on me everywhere I go. It's my travel little watercolor set. This little pouch I got for £1 at a charity shop when I was in the UK. It's actually Clinique, which I think is a cosmetic or skincare brand. I'm not entirely sure. But it's perfect size. It's pretty. I like the color, really. And the fact that it's plastic, it keeps my the rest of my bag safe from any water accidents and also keeps my pages safe if the water accident is in my bag. So it's a win-win situation. Oops, okay, I just cut a little bit because I was showing a drawing and it was pretty ugly, so just cut it up. And it's not finished also. But I've been using this paper. It's watercolor, really regular watercolor paper, 200 grams. But it's actually A4 papers, and then my dad cuts them so that they become postcard size, so A6 sizes, and I just store them into this album photo thingy, and it's just so much easier for me to travel with it. So yeah. All right, so this is okay. I'm sorry about the dirty tissue, but basically it's just I always have a tissue to dry my paints on. And I've recently purchased this little spray bottle. I'm not going to spray it because I don't want everything to get wet, but it's so perfect. It's just like perfect size, and the fact that there's a lid, or I don't know how it's called, but I just put water, and I also use this to either wash or really like do a wet and wet technique. Then this watercolors were actually gifted by my friend's mom, not mom's friend. Sorry. But she's the one who commented on one of my paintings, and I was really, really, really touched because I didn't think she would, it's her own kid. And so I added a little paintbrush, and I've got all the basic colors, got myself a few, and it's just perfect. It's really practical and it's so pretty. Moving on, I have a rubber because I've recently started drawing with a pencil. Usually I just go with a black pen, but I don't know why. I started with a black pen and I'm ending up with the pencil, but I just wanted to try out something new, I guess. And this is also a new addition to my travel kit. It's drawing gum with another brush, and it's like Paul Clark says you can do a lot with it.
and I've really wanted to try it out. I've only tried it out once because I didn't know how to use it. I mean, it's pretty intuitive, but when to use it is the question. But yeah, anyway, I have it now, and I also have this little packet of color pencils. I used to have watercolor ones, but I don't anymore, and I never used them, but they fit perfectly, so I just keep them in case.
That is all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Ish. See ya.